Ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you something. How many of you are tired of the noise? Noise from people who don't even know who they are, but somehow have opinions on your life. Noise from social media telling you who to be, what to wear, how to feel. Noise from family, from friends, from co-workers, pulling you in every direction except the one your soul is screaming for. It's 2025, and let me tell you something that will transform your life if you take it to heart. It's time to focus on yourself and stay silent. Not because you're weak, but because you're becoming unstoppable. You see, we live in a world addicted to reaction. Everyone wants to comment, to post, to clap back, to prove something. But the truth? Winners don't shout, they show. They don't post about the grind, they live it. While the world argues they're building empires quietly, consistently, relentlessly, you don't need validation. You don't need applause. You don't need to prove your vision to people who can't see past their own limitations. You need discipline, focus, silence. The problem is, most people are so distracted by the noise, they never get around to building anything real. They're busy reacting, not creating. They're busy comparing, not growing. But you were not born to be average. You were not born to stay stuck in the storm of opinions, drama, and digital garbage. You were built for greatness, and greatness demands focus. You want to level up your body, focus. You want to break through financially, focus. You want emotional mastery, focus. You want to connect with something deeper spiritually, focus. But let me give it to you straight. You cannot focus when you are constantly explaining yourself, defending yourself, arguing with people who don't even understand the game you're playing. Silence is a weapon. It's not weakness, it's wisdom. It's not retreat, it's strategy. Every time you speak, you're giving energy. Every time you argue, you lose power. But when you focus in silence, you collect energy. You gain clarity, you sharpen your edge. Let the world underestimate you. Let them talk, let them guess while they're watching you're working, while they're judging you're transforming, and when it's time to speak. You won't have to say a word. Your results will scream louder than any speech. I want you to stop asking for permission to evolve. I want you to stop announcing your goals like you need approval. You don't. Just build, just grind, just rise. 2025 is the year you become obsessed with yourself. Not in an ego-driven way, but in a growth-driven way. Obsessed with your peace, your health, your goals, your future. Obsessed with becoming the kind of person that doesn't need to speak to be respected, because their presence, their discipline says everything. And if you ever feel lonely on that path, good. It means you're doing it right. Because the path to mastery is not a crowd favorite. It's walked alone, but guess what? On the other side of that silence is power. So focus on yourself. Stay silent, and when the time is right, let the world hear the roar of the life you built in silence. Let's go, your energy is your most valuable currency. Not your money, not your followers, not your likes or the car you drive or the titles you carry. It's your energy that determines the quality of your life and the results you create. And yet, we live in a time where people give their energy away so cheaply. They let every little distraction siphon it. They let every negative person rob them of it. They spend it on arguments, endless scrolling, toxic conversations, unearned relationships, and drama that doesn't build them, it breaks them. The price for being everywhere mentally is that you end up nowhere in life. Think of it like this. Every time you give attention to something or someone that doesn't serve your purpose, you're spending a piece of yourself, and that expense adds up. You might not see the depletion immediately, but one day, you wake up and realize you're exhausted, burned out, and stuck. Not because you're lazy, but because you were leaking energy to the wrong places. And if you want to turn your life around in 2025, you've got to tighten that up. You've got to become ruthless about your focus. Ruthless about your peace. You've got to get crystal clear about what deserves your energy and what doesn't. Most people say yes to too many things that drain them because they're afraid to say no, but every yes to nonsense is a no to greatness. It's a no to your goals, your growth, your highest self. You're not here to entertain the world's chaos. You're here to build. You're here to evolve. You're here to master yourself. So your energy has to go to the few things that move the needle, not the 10 things that keep you spinning your wheels. In 2025, you've got to take ownership of your power. That means boundaries. That means silence. That means choosing your battles. You don't need to react to every post. You don't need to prove yourself to every critic. You don't need to jump into every conversation. Your time is finite. Your mind has limits. You must treat your energy like a precious asset because it is. And here's the truth. When you stop giving your energy to the unnecessary, your life will begin to rise. Your clarity will sharpen. Your drive will intensify. And your results will explode. But it all starts by refusing to waste your currency on noise. You're not meant to be drained, you're meant to be driven. Protect your energy like your life depends on it, because it does. Growth doesn't come in chaos. It doesn't thrive in noise. It's not born in the clutter of opinions, comments, or crowded spaces. Growth comes in solitude, in silence, in stillness, in that space where it's just you, your thoughts, your truth, and your next move. In a world that never stops talking, stillness is rebellion, silence is strategy, and solitude is sacred. When you isolate yourself with intention, something powerful happens. You meet yourself again. You strip away the layers of performance, obligation, and influence. You reconnect with the raw you, the unfiltered, unpressured version that doesn't need to please or perform. That's the person who knows what needs to be done. That's the person who remembers why you started. People fear being alone because they've never experienced the transformation that silence brings. But in 2025, you must fall in love with that silence. Because in that silence, your real work begins. That's where the vision gets clearer. That's where pain teaches, not torments. That's where discipline is born. That's where mental toughness is forged. You think strength is built in the gym. That's part of it. But the strongest minds, the most unstoppable people, they built their core in silence. When no one was watching, when no one believed, when no one applauded, when no one understood. Silence is where champions train, not for applause, but for mastery. That's why you've got to protect your alone time. Make it sacred. Make it untouchable. Don't apologize for it. Don't explain it. Don't negotiate it. You're not isolating to hide, you're isolating to build, to align, to rise. Because if you keep exposing yourself to constant noise, you'll drown your intuition. You'll lose your sense of direction. You'll start moving based on others' expectations, not your internal compass. You need that solitude to sharpen your identity. You need that silence to grow beyond what the world expects of you. So unplug, retreat, sit with yourself, ask the hard questions, let the discomfort teach you, let the stillness guide you. It's not easy, but it's the only way to evolve, because you cannot hear the voice of transformation over the roar of distractions. Silence is your teacher now. Listen to it. You do not owe explanations to people who don't understand your mission. You don't owe apologies to people who are offended by your boundaries. You don't owe visibility to people who just want access to your energy without investing in your vision. You owe yourself results. You owe yourself growth. You owe yourself a life that reflects your highest potential. The problem with most people is that they spend more time explaining their dreams than executing them. They talk about their ideas more than they build them. They defend their changes instead of owning them. But let me tell you this. The moment you feel the need to justify your journey to someone, you're already slowing yourself down. You don't need anyone's permission to rise. If they don't understand, let them misunderstand. If they talk, let them talk. If they leave, let them leave. Because the more you try to explain your evolution, the more time you waste not evolving. And trust me, when the results show up, you won't need words. Results are the most powerful explanation you can offer. And let's be real, people are more comfortable with the version of you that makes them feel safe. So when you start growing, evolving, focusing on your peace, your fitness, your discipline, your goals, they get uncomfortable. They'll say you've changed. They'll say you're selfish. They'll say you're distant. But let them talk, because they don't see what you see. They don't feel the calling you feel. They're not building what you're building. You've got to stop negotiating with people who don't even have the courage to change themselves. You've got to stop shrinking your dreams to fit their comfort zone. Your life is not a group project. It's not up for public vote, it's yours. You've got to walk it out boldly, silently, and unapologetically. Not everyone will understand your silence. Not everyone will respect your focus, but that's not your job. Your job is to deliver results. Your job is to level up. Your job is to show the world what happens when someone commits fully, fearlessly, and without apology. So let go of the need to explain. Let go of the need to be liked. Let go of the need to be seen, because the moment you prioritize execution over explanation, your life will shift. You'll start to move faster. You'll start to feel lighter, and before long you'll look around and realize you didn't need anyone's validation. You just needed results. Where your focus goes, your energy flows, and where your energy flows, your results grow. That's the law of life. So if your focus is scattered, your results will be scattered. If your focus is weak, your progress will be weak. But if your focus is unbreakable, so is your future. The truth is, most people never get what they want because they're too distracted. They're looking left, looking right, watching everyone else's journey instead of locking in on their own. They're comparing instead of creating. They're reacting instead of building. They're living in a state of mental multitasking, trying to be everything to everyone, and they wonder why they feel burned out, bitter, and behind. But 2025 is not the year for scattered energy. This is the year of laser focus. This is the year you pick your target and commit so fully that everything else becomes background noise. This is the year you say no to average, no to distraction, no to shallow validation, and yes to deep, focused growth. When you focus, you enter flow, you begin to stack wins, you start making real progress, not just noise. And here's what happens when you stay focused for long enough. Momentum kicks in, and momentum is a monster. Once you taste it, you'll never go back, because you'll finally understand what it feels like to be in control, to be in rhythm, to see real tangible progress. But that momentum doesn't come from working harder, it comes from working smarter and more focused. Every day you need to ask yourself, is this action feeding my future or feeding my ego? Is this task aligned with my purpose, or is it just another distraction? You need to guard your attention like it's gold, because it is. People will try to pull you off your path, life will throw distractions at you, but you've got to get to a place where your mission is non-negotiable. Your vision is locked in, your focus is sacred. You don't let gossip, doubt, comparison, or nonsense penetrate your zone. You don't take detours, you don't entertain noise, you build every day with discipline, with fire, with purpose. Master your focus and you'll master your life, because when you know what you want and you give it 100%, everything changes. Your energy changes, your habits change, your results change. Your identity changes. You stop being a person with potential and start being a person with proof. And that's what makes you unstoppable. The loudest person in the room isn't the most powerful, they're usually the most insecure. Real power doesn't make noise. Real power is silent, still, focused. It doesn't need to shout because it knows what it's building. It doesn't need validation because it's rooted in purpose. It doesn't need attention because it's obsessed with execution. In 2025, I want you to remember this. Weakness needs an audience. Strength needs a mission. The loudest people are often the most empty, constantly seeking approval, clapping for themselves, trying to appear bigger than they are. But those who are truly building don't need to perform. They're not worried about appearances. They're consumed by results. You want to be powerful. Be silent about your moves and loud about your discipline. Be consistent in the dark. Be relentless in the background. Be committed when no one is watching. That's where real power is born. Not in applause, but in alignment. Not in noise, but in clarity. Not in showmanship, but in sacrifice. And here's the best part. When you master moving in silence, your wins hit harder. Your growth shocks people, your evolution silences critics. Because you weren't talking, you were transforming. While they were watching, judging, and guessing, you were executing. And when you show up with undeniable results, they have nothing left to say. So don't get caught up in proving your power. Live it. Don't announce your every step. Take it. Don't seek attention. Seek mastery. Because those who are truly powerful never need to say it, it's felt. It's seen, it's undeniable. Silence isn't weakness, it's warfare. And in 2025, if you want to win, if you want to dominate, if you want to rise like never before, then move like a ghost, but strike like a giant. Let the world sleep on you, let them doubt you, let them forget about you. And when you show up, let your results make noise so loud that silence becomes your legacy.